Hello everyone and welcome back to another Binding of Isaac. This time I'm going to play with a different character. I think I'm going to play as Samson. Samson's kind of interesting. He doesn't start out with much health or speed or damage really, but he has bloodlust, which is, I don't know if it's an item we've actually seen yet in game, but I'll talk about it as we go along. So, bloodlust basically means that as you kill, the more enemies you kill in a room, the more you power up in terms of damage dealing. So you'll notice he gets slowly more and more red as he becomes more and more enraged and deals more and more damage. You can see finally his shots become red. Oh wow! The curved horn, what we got when we defeated Isaac as Judas, which will be really helpful because it greatly boosts damage. And a nice activatable for once we'll get a chance to see this in action. Samson, of course, the biblical figure. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Stay away! Oh, finally. Anyway, as I was saying, Samson, a biblical figure, of course, like most of the other personas here. Samson's an interesting character. He belongs as part of the Book of Judges, if I remember correctly. And in Judges, well, you have to understand Judges, which is interesting in and of itself, is in terms of its placement in the Bible. Also, it should be noted, Samson in-game here, he will have a harder time with bosses that... actually I should probably take advantage of this. Phew. Well, that was dangerous. Okay. Obviously, we can't go in the curse room this time because, yeah, that would be instant death. Joy. Moving on to the next level. One of the real weaknesses of Samson in-game is that his power-up is bloodlust item depends on destroying a number of weaker enemies in a room before to really power up. So his low starting damage is kind of a weakness here. Anyway, the Book of Judges. Judges is an interesting term for it. These figures aren't really what we would think of in terms of judges in the West. Really, it looks at a period of time in Israel's history in which it was still largely a divided culture. It was still very much divided into other tribes that worked together as a larger group during war situations. Awesome. Using the D20. Yes. Just have to be careful not... Oh. And what does this give me? Friends WN. That's good. Let me just save my keys at the moment. And that's during this period, the Israelites faced one of the greatest threats that endangered them, the Philistines, who, unlike the Israelites who only possessed bronze technology, the Philistines possessed iron working, or iron making weapon technology, which made them much more dangerous on the battlefield. And Israel consistently struggled against them and lost many battles, I believe. And the slot machine, oh, why not? Let's try it real quick. And I'll leave that stuff on the ground. Maybe I can transform it into something else with the D20 in a little bit. Maybe not. I can always come back to it. And during this time, you had various tribal leaders that would emerge. Basically, men chosen by God, who were kind of like superheroes in a manner of speaking. Because they, all of them showed some sort of, not fantastic ability, but Samson is an example of these types of these figures, people who kind of appeared on the scene and led Israel to temporary victories. Samson's great strength in battle, which was tied to his long hair, which was a kind of, that was connected to a certain vow about not cutting one's hair, about devotion to God, these types of things that gave him, supposedly superhuman strength. And the foreign woman, for some reason her name escapes me. I think it's Delilah? I can't remember. Anyway, can't get that. Or not worth getting, I should say. Really need more health is what I need in this game right now. But anyway, the judges. Broadly speaking, they were figures a bit like Samson, who had great abilities, but either in terms of leadership of men or in terms of almost supernatural power, like Samson's strength. And here we go. This is going to be tough because he doesn't produce any weaker creatures to allow me to boost bloodlust, so... Although, I think when you do enough damage to him, he'll have a... I don't know. Anyway, but the judges. I'm digressing kind of all over the board, trying to focus both on the game and commentary. No! Hate you. Okay, now I can focus on him. These figures were mixed characters. They weren't always... They were both kind of wonderful characters in the sense that they allowed Israel to achieve victory. But at the same time, they weren't perfect characters. They weren't heroic characters in and of themselves either, because they ultimately revealed some character flaw that ultimately led to their downfall. For example, with Samson, he was involved with a foreign, non-Israelite woman and succumbs to her wiles, and therefore has his hair, and eventually is weakened so that he falls to the Philistines. And, need to move on. Next level. And, these characters are kind of tragic flaws because they would mark a period in Israel's history, cursive elaborate, in Israel's history in which it sought to grapple with the problems inherent in a confederacy situation, because each of the tribes, basically joined or helped each other as they desired. They were not one unified nation. They were a collection of loose tribes. And that sometimes caused problems, because they would also fight amongst themselves, too. So, facing the Philistine threat, plastic. God, I'm gonna die here. Finally. Oh, it's getting even worse. Finally, and I can't even get at it. Let's see, go back and try to get some more health. Where was I? Oh yeah. What happens is that Israel, as a loose confederacy of tribes who shared a common history, language, culture, but also fought amongst themselves too, were not strong enough as a divided group. And so the people began discussing the benefits of forming a full nation, basically under a monarchy. This is what would play out under the Book of Kings, eventually, where you would have Saul, who's really more of a last judge than a true king, and eventually David and later Solomon. But this, the Judges marks a period in which, marks a period in which, no, lies. Judges, I'm saying, marks an example of the people of Israel looking back to an earlier period, exploring why they chose to have a king and why, despite being told it would ultimately bring them unhappiness, at the time, they still wanted it, and the failings of these particular leaders who, while successful, could not hold together the entire endeavor as a whole, due to usually tragic character flaws in some fashion or another. So, Samson, here in the game, though, he's interesting because, in part, he's one of the characters that were added by the Wrath of the Lamb add-on. Because originally he wasn't part of the game, and he gets added in by the Wrath of the Lamb edition, which expanded more items, more bosses, more character, and him as an additional character. The creator of the game described him as the Berserker when comparing him to D&D characters, just as he compared Maggie to a cleric and Judas to the wizard class. Yay. So yeah, Samson is actually pretty challenging to play here because he just doesn't have much health. And even though he can dish out a lot of damage ultimately, it really depends on your ability to clear out weaker enemies before you can get powerful enough to do real damage. So if you're not facing a boss that produces any small creatures like a peep or that kind of thing, you're going to have a lot of difficulty. Could really use some health ups, though. Oh, no. Oh! Start again. Huh. Oh, wait, he must start with a soul heart? I didn't notice that before. Anyway. So... Anyway, what Samson represents, or not represents, but as a figure in the Bible, he's part of this series of judges who were like tribal leaders who sought to bring together the tribes of Israel to deal with a dangerous threat against their greater well-being, such as the Philistines. And ultimately, the system doesn't work. There's too much division among the tribes, and in order to succeed, they have a prophet, Saul, who is guided by God to pick their king, who is, oh, not Saul, excuse me. The prophet's name is Samuel. The man he picks is named Saul, who becomes the titular first king. Although really he functions much more as a, he doesn't really centralize the tribes. He doesn't really have that level of power over the tribes to do that. So instead what really happens is he ends up being kind of more of a last judge, Saul does, because he tries to get the tribes to work together, and by the end he goes crazy. I mean, the Bible describes it as an evil spirit sent by God, but in all likelihood he probably went crazy from trying to politically manage all these different tribes and trying to force them to work together. It's only under David that you would really see a solidification of power into a true monarchy. Flies! Useful. Especially with how I can't seem to get more health for him. Anyway. So that's kind of a primer on where Samson falls within the biblical stories. Let's find the boss. We got Monstrous Monstro. Fortunately, he's not super difficult to deal with, but I'm not going to get any chances to really power up either. Oh, come on! What the hell? My keyboard got sticky again. And the Empress. And since there's no more soul hearts to grab, I might as well. Oh. And I got a bomb. Well, the hermit. And a key. Nice. Let's teleport to the hermit. I don't have enough for the habit, so I'll hold on to it for now and wait. See if I can get more money. Let's go back to the treasure room and get our treasure. So Samson is actually pretty challenging, as I was saying, in terms of characters, because he's in a somewhat weaker position, and it's an activated item, so I don't actually need it. And I'm just gonna have to hold on to unicorn horn. Another heart. Awesome, that fly is actually doing some good for a change. And another heart. Which I don't need because I don't have any expanded heart space, which I need. A key at least. Time to go fight the boss. Before I do, I'll go grab that soul heart because with it being under the curse of darkness, it's difficult to tell where the room might be, and I might as well at least pick up something. That'll help defend. Alright, the Lord of the Flies. Or, am I ever gonna call him right? Duke of the Flies. Alright, we'll have no trouble getting to full power here. Cool. And I got the box. Bombs or keys, okay? This will be helpful. And the Joker, I'm going to hold on to that later. For the moment, let's go in here and see what this is. Yeah, I can't get anything. Period. That's a shame. And I will grab this because I'll use it on the next level. Who knows, I might get an angel room or something. Oh, that was nice. Actually, since it increases the likelihood of you getting white hearts, that's actually really nice. If we get lucky. Aw, come on. Fortunately, I don't have any money for you to steal. And another activatable item that isn't as good as unicorn on. Moving on. Spiky room, no good. certainly makes a very interesting difference in terms of gameplay. Playing with this character. Oh, nice. Not only is this not a deadly room, but for a change, I actually get stuff. Is there a stupid room there? No, there is not. Darn it. Oh, hey, it's Pride. Ah. Part of the problem is you never know exactly where his shots are going to go, or where the bombs are going to go when they blow up, because they'll spread out everywhere. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and temperance, which is a meh. Oh no. Let's see how to do this. Could let my fly handle it, basically. This third pass should basically kill the one den. There we go. Have to be careful with these white flies, though. Despite not being directly aggressive, they are at least still dangerous. They will still hurt you. Let's see what's in here. I want to go there, but can't. So let's see. I want to do friends. And I got my heart back and a little bit of money. And a little bit more money. Yay, now if only I had a key and I could go to a shop and buy stuff. If I run into a slot machine, I'm so going to use that thing and get some keys at this rate. Well, time to face this boss. Oh, the fallen. Yeah, we might not make it out of this one. God. Alright, I got him divided. Oh, damn it. Well, that's all for now, folks. Until next time.